it it sort of glowed a bright purple and then went poof. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, then welcome to the channel. I was going to go busking today, but it is freezing out there, and so I'm not going to do it. My chest is feeling a little bit tight today. I went busking yesterday, my throat's feeling a little bit tight as well, and it was freezing yesterday. So although I need the money, I'm going to stay in and I'm going to have a look at my amp maker Plexi 18 watt, see if I can get it going again. This is the amp here. It's an 18 watt Plexi style amp. It's got high and low input, it's got volume and tone. It does have an attenuator which isn't rigged up to it because for some reason the guy I paid to put it in couldn't get it to work. It kept blowing the transformer, so I just said leave it alone, we won't have it. So the knob's there but it doesn't do anything. The problem with this amp is it developed like an intermittent crackle, and it sort of goes up in volume then drops down in volume. It has done it before, and it was just a dry solder joint. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to reflow the solder joints and see if that solves it. If it doesn't solve it, then I will probably not investigate any further myself because I don't want to die, and I'll get it to a technician as soon as I can afford to. What this does, of course, is it gives you a look inside so you can see all the components and stuff if you're interested in this kind of thing. So here's a look inside. You can see it's all point-to-point wiring. And what I've done in the past is I've just reflowed the solder joints and it's come back to life again and been okay for years, and then it started doing the same thing again. I know it's not the valves are new. Other than that, I mean, it's really beyond me. I mean, I could figure out how to test it all, but I'd rather not. This amp's been sitting a long time, and you should discharge the caps. It's been sitting for a long time. It hasn't been used in 6 months, so it should be okay, but I'm going to stay away from the caps anyway. Rightio, so I've reflowed all the solder joints, anything I thought that looked dodgy, checked every single joint, make sure that it's all connected really well, and it all looks okay. I'm just going to, while I'm here and I've got it open, I'm going to just clean these pots out with some contact cleaner, and I'll do the valve seats as well, like so. Don't need a lot of this stuff. Oh, I mean, it is. These pots are pretty good, in good shape anyway. It's the same thing. You just pop the valve out. God, tight. Squeeze a little in there, and then reseat the valve a couple of times. Like that, and do that across them all. I'm also going to make sure that these are all tight. These can work loose sometimes, and it can cause vibrations. So I'll just tighten them up nice. Not too tight, but so they're tight. Like I say, I'm not an amp expert at all. I did build this amp from a kit, so I know it pretty well. But this is about as far as I want to go with it. It's basically all I've done is just serviced it, kind of. And if it doesn't behave itself after what I've done there, then I will send it to someone who knows a bit more than me. Right, she's back in the house. See, the guy that I paid to do the attenuator, which couldn't do it, gave it back with 2 of the screws missing as well. Got a nice knob on there that does nothing. So yeah, got to be careful who you get to work on your amps, I think, sometimes. Right, I'm going to go ahead and fire it up, plugged it in, so we got on. I'll leave it on standby for a minute. It did crackle a little bit when I first turned it on. Now it's warming up. It seems to have stopped. There's a rattle somewhere. Won't hear it on stage though. Turn it up a bit. It sounds like there's some feedback. Hear that? Now that tells me I could have a microphonic valve. Let's have a look at that. Alright, so here's the amp out of the box again. Being very careful not to electrocute oneself. But if I tap this valve here, it rings like a bell. That is knackered. If I do that one, it's ringing a little bit, but I think it's because that one's vibrating. So this valve here is no good. So I'm going to swap that one out for one I know is good out of my other amp and see if it makes a difference. So unfortunately you didn't get to see it, but this is the valve I took out of my 5-watt, which has been working perfectly fine, and I put it in the place of the Microphonic one, and it it sort of glowed a bright purple and then went poof, and now dead. So I need to get some new preamp valves. It is, however, working with the other valve back in it. So I reckon doing the reflow on the solder joints has helped a bit, but we've also discovered that there you go, has had it, so we need to replace that, and I think it'll be alright after that. Oh, it's pretty cool. It's all working nicely now, actually. It's just got that Microphonic preamp valve in there, but at the moment it's working. It's not cutting out in power or anything like that, so I'm just going to run through some sounds. So this is on the low input, so this is input number 1. And like I say, this amp just has a volume and tone, that's it. Down a bit, turn the volume up a bit, turn the tone down a bit. But it really comes alive when you put it in the input 2. Very martially. So let's have a quick look at the specs on this amp. It is from Amp Maker. I will leave a link in the description. You can check out the other amp I have of his, which is also a kit guitar. It's my 5-watt, which I use quite regularly. You can see that here. So this particular one is the 18-watt Plexi, which he doesn't sell anymore. Which is handy, but in its place there is the 18-watt vintage Plexi, which you can see now. Obviously he's done an upgraded version, so the upgraded version comes with an attenuator, so he's obviously listened to people. It's 18 watts. This one's 18 watts. It's nice and loud, and it's clean, and it's got lots of headroom. It's very vintagey Marshall sounding. The speaker I've got in there is a Celestion 7080. I can't remember, but it's what used to be in the Ashton Viper. I intend to put the vintage 30 in it if I'm going to use it on a full-time basis. So So it is a hand-wired turret board, volume and tone, and it's got a 16 ohm output and an 8 ohm output, and that is it. Has 2 power valves, 2 preamp valves. I toured this amp for quite a long time. I really like this amp. It takes the pedal board really well. It's a no fuss, just a valve tone, plug your pedal board in, off you go type of amp. The new one comes with lots of tonal variations. Again, I'll leave it up to you to go and check it out. I'll put the link in the description for you. But in short, it has a VR circuit which lets you dial the fully cranked output down to well under 1 watt, which is really nice. And this is what I tried to do with this. I tried to put an attenuator in it, which was actually one of Amp Maker's attenuator kits. The guy that I got to do it obviously didn't know what he was doing and mucked it up. So eventually I will get someone to wire that in for me. And it has some other goodies as well. This is what I like about Amp Maker, is he does listen to people's comments and suggestions and then upgrades his kits accordingly. So the ones I have are the old ones. I mean, I've had this for 8 years. I think I've had the 5 watt one for over 10 years. So the new ones are improved based on people's suggestions, which is really cool. I dig that a lot. The cabinet that it's in isn't actually Amp Maker's himself. It's it's on a tab on his website. It's by a guy called Chris. I should imagine it's called Cabs by Chris. My wife bought me this for my 40th birthday to put this amp in. It's very pretty. It's very nice, but it's not very well made. The Tolex on it is very flimsy. The handle's very flimsy. I haven't took it on the road with it in the cab that often. The colour's starting to bleach out of it as well. It used to be like a real vibrant orange, and that's starting to go yellow. So not really impressed with the cab, even though it fits the amp perfectly. I don't think it would stand up to vigorous gigging very well. It's pretty much the same quality as the Harley Benton speaker cab that I use, the G12 Vintage 30. It's pretty poor. Ideal for obviously bedroom use and maybe studio use and the odd outing, but I would not take it gigging and expect it to look good for very long. Like I say, I'm not an amp expert, but I can do a basic service like that. When you build these kits, you do learn a bit about it, and because you build it from scratch, you kind of know where everything is and where the problem areas usually are. But like I say, this amp's quite old. It's 8 years old. It's been on the road, and I built it, so the build quality probably isn't the best it could be. Anyway, so I hope this video was helpful and interesting. And if you do like this kind of video, then please like, comment and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. It helps me out in a big way. Give it a thumbs up and all that stuff. And I'll just say this. Peace. Till next time. Cue the jingle. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you like my YouTube show, hit like and comment and get involved. If you dig my vibe, then hit subscribe and never miss an episode of my YouTube show. Peace. Till next time.